will be giving my updated 2026 Senate predictions. Now, let's go ahead and get started and let's look at all of our safe states. So, my safe blue states are going to be Oregon, Illinois, and Minnesota. I do believe will be a safe state, which some may find a little weird because in 2020, Smith only won by 5.2 points. But if we go to 2024, in a very pro Republican year, we saw Minnesota vote plus 15 points in the Senate race for um, the Senate. So I do believe Minnesota on a state level is moving more blue, and also with how bad Trump's disapproval rating is, based off CNN and these other, just Trump's approval rating not being good at all. I do expect Minnesota to actually be safe, and uh, Smith will not be running for re-election, I believe. Yes, Tennis Smith is retiring from the U.S. Senate, and so there will be a new Minnesotan uh, Democrat running a fresh face. So hopefully that does help. I do believe Colorado will be safe. Um, Virginia, after the governor's election in 2025, where Democrats won by over 10 points, I do believe Virginia will be safe. Same with New Jersey's governor election. There's no reason not to believe that the New Jersey Senate race won't be a safe bet for Democrats. Also, we can include Dairyland, Delaware. Don't know why I was saying Dairyland. Delaware, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island to also be safe. Now, our safe red states are going to be Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, and West Virginia. So these will be all of my safe states for the Republicans. And now we can start getting into some of the closer states. Now, my likely red states will. Now, I do believe Texas could possibly go into. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing Ted Cruz is probably the weaker of the two Senate um, incumbent Senate Republicans in Texas, but he is not running for re-election this year. Now it is uh this guy John Corn. I don't know how to say his last name. This guy, but he is in a contested primary, so I do think Ken Paxton. It would take Ken Paxton to win the Republican Senate race for Texas to be within a 5 point margin. I do believe he is the weakest candidate, and it would also take James Talasiso. I'm very sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing these names. Actually, let me see. Do I have him saved on my YouTube? I don't know if I do. It's fine. Um, but you know who I'm talking about. The Texas state representative winning the Democratic primary for Texas to be close. But if the incumbent senator does win, I still expect Texas to be within that 8 point margin. And then I also expect Alaska to be, well, Alaska recently, I do believe, has a new, yes. So Alaska could be likely. I would not be surprised though if Alaska does jump to, because if we go to the house maps, we can actually see in 2022 that Alaska voted for a state rep by 10 points. And before that, and I do believe, my goodness, no, this is what I'll look at. I do believe, let me just make sure of this fact. Yes, she is running for Senate now, for the U.S. Senate, so I do believe Alaska will be very close. I could definitely see Dems taking Alaska, but right now I am going to have it within 3 to 4 points to the Republicans. If Trump's disapproval rating continues to go up, I could definitely see Alaska getting within that 1 point margin. Another state I do believe will be likely is Florida. I believe Florida will be within that 7 point margin, 6 point margin, somewhere in between there, and it will be a close race. The next state I want to talk about is Iowa, which Iowa, if Carrie Lake runs, as I have this article put up right now, she has bought a condo in Iowa, as speculation about her running for Senate there is fueled. But she's honestly just a bad candidate. She's a bad Republican candidate. She can't win races. I so Republicans have to hope that she doesn't win the primary, but Trump probably likes her and is probably going to endorse her if he does make an endorsement, if she does decide to run. So I do expect Iowa to be closely contested if Carrie Lake does decide to run. Nebraska, I also expect to be pre- not presidential house. I mean, no, Senate. As in 2024, we saw Osborne come within 6 points of 7 points of being the Republican candidate in a very Republican year. And in 2020, though, it was 11 points, and we saw Osborne pick up, what was that, 5 extra points from what the Democrats couldn't get in 2020. So I do think with Osborne running again, Nebraska will be within a 5 point margin. Do think it will be very close. I also expect Ohio to be within a 5 point margin, or possibly even a 3 point margin, because they do have their old Democratic senator that lost in 2024 running again, as we saw in 2018. He was able to win by 6 points, but of course, Ohio was different at the time. Vance won Ohio by 6 points in 22, and most recently, Republicans took it by around 4 points. So I do expect Ohio to be within 3 points. We'll go ahead and say I do expect New Mexico. Honestly, there's no reason not to say New Mexico won't be safe. I'm gonna go ahead and say New Mexico is safe. I do expect Georgia to go to John Ossoff. He's doing very good in polling, and he has the most money on hand too. So I do expect Georgia to go 3 points to John Ossoff. Same with Roy Cooper. I expect Roy Cooper to win North Carolina easily. I also expect Maine to go to the Democrats, with Susan Collins having to deal with Trump just hating on her, so the MAGA base doesn't like Susan Collins, and then so they may not turn out to vote for her. And also, uh, what was I gonna say? There's gonna be probably very high turnout for Democrats in Maine specifically. Michigan, I do expect to be close, but I have no reason not to believe Michigan. Michigan will probably be one of the closer states, but I do expect Michigan to go Democrat. And then if we look at our map in 2020, New Hampshire was safe. In 22, New Hampshire went to. Honestly, I have no reason not to believe New Hampshire would be safe either. Maybe likely at worst. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say New Hampshire will be likely. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This is my new updated map of the 2026 Senate. Um, thank you all for watching, and peace out.